That's the rule.
All right, why are you looking at me?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Outlaw Picks podcast. Today we are discussing this weekend's UFC main event. Oh man, my brain is literally just mush right now. It's scrambled eggs. Okay.
You want to go again?
No, we're going to keep rolling because
Okay.
I don't want to lose all that stuff you were just talking about because it was fascinating and hilarious.
Monkey finger.
I don't even know what that means. Okay.
It's provocative. Gets the people going.
Gets the people going.
All right.
Okay, all right. Today we're discussing UFC Paris.
Yes.
Ciryl Gane against Tai Tuivasa. Lots of cool fights on the card. You'll be there.
I will be there, yes.
Enjoying it. Aries is the day before, yes?
Correct.
You are commentating.
Correct.
Lots of good fights on that card.
Correct.
Okay. We're already doing well. Sponsors today. We are sponsored by us, Full Reptile. We have, did we decide to go PICS, right?
Pix is already.
PICS. 10% off if you use the code PICS. These are literally just samples that we've just received, and I'm just going to show you now because they're really cool. Check that out. These are not out yet, but they will be soon. That's a cassette tape. There's all kinds of interesting stuff going on, and
I can tell it's your handwriting as well. I like the
it.
top, yeah.
Okay, and then there's this one as well, which is another sample. So you let me know in the comments what you think to these two. These are coming soon, and these are both oversized. These are like for when you're out skateboarding or unicycling or whatever you crazy kids do these days, hoverboarding or some shit. I don't know. They're the oversized ones, a little bit more skater tags on the bottom. Nice. And what's the code? PICS. 10% off if you use the code PICS. Jamie Catch. Look at that. Seamless. And we're sponsored by Crystal Council.
Yes, we are. As you can see by
we're sponsored by your
deadly
hoodie,
skull.
by your Moldavite pendant, by
Yes.
your rings, and that's an entered anyway bracelet.
This is
isn't it?
pretty epic. They told me I could get this insured.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
No. They told you should get it insured.
Okay, yes, I should
We won't
get
say
it.
how much for.
No, but I've just never been told that. I've never purchased anything to the point where like that can be insured.
Yeah.
I'm not even insured. Maybe I am. I live in Europe now.
So, Crystal Council, what's the discount code?
20%.
Yeah, and what's the code?
Full reptile.
Full reptile for the Crystal Council. Go and check their website out. There's loads of cool stuff. You'll end up buying loads of cool stuff. This is a nice piece of smoky quartz. There's a nice mango calcite skull there. I've got some smoky quartz and some emeralds and some moldavite, and there's all kinds of good stuff. Anyway, go and check them out. Use the code Full Reptile for 20% off. Oh, and that's their book as well that they sent us.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
You should get it just like a subscription box if you don't know what it is.
That's a good shout.
Like, I'm somebody who doesn't know, but I like it. I'm so, ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, and if
And
you
they
get
tell you. And,
that's it. And you just get you get a nice little selection.
yeah.
Information about what it is.
A scroll.
A scroll. You love a scroll. It's like
Pretty
pirate
cool.
treasure.
Yeah.
Okay, should we talk about the fights?
We should talk about the fights.
Okay, should we start? Okay, right at the bottom of the card with
Yes.
the second ever Argentinian female fighter ever, right? Is that right?
Yeah, but that was my point that I said to you. You can't
I know.
be stealing my notes.
No. Hang on.
This is so.
Hang on.
You stole my work.
Yeah, no, I'm setting you up. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not stealing anything. That is
right.
literally the start and finish of my knowledge about this fight. So the rest is over to you.
All right.
Carry on.
So,
I'll sit
Ailin
back and have
Perez
tea.
is making her debut for the UFC.
Ooh, fog my glasses up.
She normally fights at 135, and she got offered this fight because she was fighting Zara Firim.
Yep.
Yeah. She was fighting her, but Sarah pulled out. She had an injury or something, couldn't compete, and now it's Ailin Perez versus Stephanie Egger. Which Stephanie Egger's coming off that weird loss against Maida Buena Silva.
The armbar.
The armbar, which you talk about.
Which
in
it
this.
wasn't.
You know what?
What?
Okay, I put it on UFC and I put it in like 0.25 speed, and I was looking and I was like, I don't know. It's just because of the angle. Like, how would Bueno Silva have felt the tap? Does that make sense? Because it was kind of like
I'd have to watch it again. The thing is, though, Stephanie Eggers didn't argue it at all.
Yeah, that's
she just
the
left
part
it
that,
vague.
That
She was
made it like...
Right?
Yeah.
She just left it vague. She didn't really like kind of...
Maybe she was just confused on what was going on.
Nah.
All right, yeah. Well, on the video, on her Instagram is like, oh, well, I still stand to the fact that I didn't tap and stuff. So I'm just like, yeah, but you also didn't say you didn't tap. You know, like if it stopped, you'd kind of be like, oh, that was bullshit. Like everybody who's like been wrongfully stopped in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
But on the video, I don't know. I couldn't really see anything.
No.
As to where it would physiologically make sense.
Wasn't it one of the judges that said that they saw a tap? Because I'm sure that the referee went around and asked all the judges.
Yeah, who was it? It was one person that said he 100% saw it, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they're fighting at featherweight because Stephanie Egger's taking it on short notice.
Because Ailin was supposed to fight Sarah Farim in featherweight. That's why she got the contract, right? So she got the contract to fight Zara to come in and fight.
But she's actually a bantamweight.
She's actually a bantamweight.
She got a fight offer at featherweight.
Yes.
And her opponent pulled out, so they're keeping it at featherweight. And Stephanie Egger's coming in and fighting at featherweight, even though she's normally a bantamweight.
Yes. Well, so is Ailin Perez.
So they're just not going to bother cutting weight then.
Yeah. Which, like...
Well, it's kind of better that she's not fighting. Although, who was she fighting? Is she like a full-size featherweight, or is she just like a big bantam?
It's a really... Zara is a really tall kickboxer.
Okay.
You know, she's from France. She fought... what do you call it?
Why is she off the card?
Megan Anderson, and she fought also this Canadian girl, Felicia Spencer.
Right.
So she fought her, and she lost first round, both fights. It was on the ground, you know. So it's clear that the path to victory against her is to take her to the ground, and not to strike.
She was coming off 2 losses as well.
Yeah. So then now Stephanie Egger is a completely different story because she's a judoka. She won the ADCC, you know, and
a harder fight, I would say.
Yeah, much harder fight. So, and if you saw Young against Stephanie Egger, it was like she was trying to apply that same, oh, I'm close to you, I'll put pressure and I'll take you down. But then Stephanie's like, thank you. Judo since I was born.
Yeah.
Bam, takedown, ground and pound. So Ailin has to come up with a different game plan for this fight. And she has to realize that this is a very, very different fight. Mm-hmm. And she has to approach it the exact opposite 10 days before.
Yeah. Exactly
everything she was training for. So
she's not going to be able to take Edgar down and ground and pound her like she does against most of her opponents, though, is she?
And that loss that she has, I mean, it's under an organization. She has the belt over an organization called Samurai Fight, which the promoter is also her manager.
Perfect.
Yeah. But like she's fought around. She's done like jiu-jitsu competitions, and she's competed in Sanda. She has a really cool KO.
Yeah. Is she the one that did the dance?
She's the one that did the dance.
Okay, I remember now. I didn't get to that point. I just get to the end of the fight, and then I go on to the next one. So I remember now.
It's weird if you look her up on YouTube. It's not of her fighting the thumbnail. It's like it's her twerking.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, come on.
There was one of the heavyweights on the PFL card the other day, and like everybody's Sherdog picture was them like arm raised or punching somebody or whatever, and his was like him standing there with a shirt and a beer. Like he was one of the heavyweights, that Scottish heavyweight guy that got wrestled for 15 minutes and couldn't do anything. Okay, tangent. So, are you going Stephanie Egger or Ailin Perez?
The danger that I can see in this fight is that Ailin has a knockout win where she was in the clinch, she pushed away the girl, kicked her, the girl like dropped half dead, right? And Stephanie Egger sometimes when she's going back, because she's not, even though she's getting more comfortable, she's not half comfortable in the stand-up, so she goes back with both hands quite straight.
Yep.
So there a kick might land, but overall I feel like Stephanie probably will do it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
She gets my vote. Okay, so 2 for Stephanie Egger. Next one, bantamweight. Khalid Taha Hang on a minute. Are they all the same order, these? Because I'm on Wikipedia and...
I don't know. It's changed so much.
I know, right?
I keep having to like copy paste in my notes, and I'm getting real annoyed.
Oh no, I think they're on. Yeah, no, they're in the right order. Khalid Taha against Cristian Quiñónez.
That's why the thing's in the N. Ño.
Ño.
Like gnocchi.
Ño. Like Cartman. Like ño. Ño. Like Quiñónez. Is that what he's like that?
Yeah.
Am I getting it?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, good. Okay,
Teaching him Spanish, Grandma.
Madre mia. Khalid Taha 13-4 with 1 no contest. Cristian Quiñónez.
Yes.
17-3. 2 inches in height and 1 inch in reach for Quiñónez. Taha always seems to be the shorter fighter that's got to kind of cover distance and get close to his opponent. The thing that stands out in this one to me is the difference in striking output, because of course we've seen Quiñónez, go the distance on the contenders. He was his striking output is 5.07 compared to Taha's 2.69, and he's got a good striking accuracy, better striking defense.
Yeah.
Like Taha's not in a good spot, is he? He's a good fighter, and he's had some really tough fights where I just felt like he was just not. He was not putting his foot on the gas. I feel like he's got the power. Like when he beat Boston Salmon, like he's clearly got the power to knock people out. Those decisions, they just kind of seemed like they slipped away from him.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
He was initially due to fight Taylor Lapalus, which I think Taylor's a harder fight.
Yeah. Just
because... I'm not speaking skill-wise, I'm just speaking maturity-wise for Taylor. He has developed so much as a fighter with his fight IQ, and he won't have the same, I guess, like, childish approach that Cristian Quiñónez might have, because
How old is Cristian?
I think he's like 23. He's
26.
26, yeah.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, you're still just like, oh, shit, it's the UFC. Oh, my God, it's this and that. And then you have Taylor who, was kicked out of the UFC having 3-1.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. But I mean, Cristian Quiñónez looked really impressive, and the dude he fought had a 12-fight win streak.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and he was short and powerful and trying to get close to him.
Yeah. Just that jab that he has, he sticks and moves. What I liked the most was that angle change with his footwork, so he can land that uppercut. Mm-hmm. I saw that like 3-4 times. I was like, oh, that's sweet. And I've seen him do that in other fights as well, which is really cool. I think he's like still developing as a striker. He's not fully reached his capabilities, which is great. I mean, you don't want to at 26 reach your capability. Yeah, and he's Jose Quiñónez's brother. That guy that fought Sean O'Malley with the mustache.
With the great mustache. Yeah. It looks like a bandito.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So this kid's on a 4-fight win streak, 3 decision wins, unanimous, and 1 first-round stoppage.
18 finishes of his... Well, I have on Tapology has 16, not 17. So,
is that right?
Yeah, it might just be a fight that didn't get recorded or something. That sometimes happens.
So... Taha's on a 2-fight losing streak, as well as 1 no contest against Bruno Silva.
Yeah, for a failed drug test.
On whose side?
Taha. Because Taha had won.
Oh.
So it got turned to a no contest. I think like steroids or something.
Oh, no.
Or like some other drug that's basically steroids. I'm not like a drug specialist.
So how long was he banned for then?
I'm not really too sure.
12 months?
Yeah, probably.
Looks like 12 months.
Yeah.
2019. I don't know, yeah. Anyway, which way are you going?
What was curious was from Cristian, I saw an interview that he did in Spanish, and it was, what was it? June? And he was saying he wanted to fight in September, but he had dislocated his finger while like rolling and stuff. So how much will that affect? I don't know. You don't think so? He's good?
Nah.
Made his pro debut at 17 years old, which is pretty cool.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, so he made his pro debut because if you think of Entran Gym, which is where he trains, it's basically in California. The only thing is Border Patrol. separating. But he's like from down Mexico, so he had started his career already. Kind of started with jiu-jitsu, so he has really good grappling. I've seen him with top control and also like ride the positions and really good kicks. Like he loves kicks, just kicks his opponents off as well as using these long range shots. So that's going to be important for him in this fight to keep Taha away. And also, like Brandon Moreno did to Kai Kara-France, if you're getting kicked, your arms are busy, so it's less likely for you to land these hard strikes. And on the ground, I think Khalid Taha, considering who he was fighting and stuff, he did like pretty well for himself. He defended well. He was just up against really high opposition in that field. And he got a submission win over Silva, even though it got turned to a no contest. So that always sucks. But in this, what scares me is that it's a short notice for Quiñónez. Right, like skill wise, I think I'd go for him, but it's a short notice, and I'm still gonna go for him.
Yeah. I think Taha.
Come on, Mexico.
I think Taha should be doing better than he is at the moment, but I think there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and I think him coming in to this one with that pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah, and also like close to his home because he's, although he's representing Lebanon, he is German as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Quiñónez. I think momentum, I think his range, and I think his pace is going to be stressful for Taha. But then I think Taha might do what Lapilus did and, maybe go Aries or something like that and then come back to the UFC again because they might release him after 3 losses.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. 155-pound fight against Benoît Saint-Denis and Gabriel Miranda, who has a very tidy moustache. Okay, so 9-1 for Benoît Saint-Denis against 16-5 for Miranda, but it's Miranda making his debut, right? He's coming in for his first time.
Yes.
It looks like a bit of a scrapper.
Yeah.
Fun to watch. 1 loss on his record, 1 no contest. Both 5'11". We don't have the reach of Gabriel Miranda yet. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, it's kind of 2 submission specialists fighting each other.
Yeah.
is what I see, especially because Gabriel Miranda has 15 wins by sub, so that's quite a lot. He has fought at featherweight before, so I think he won't have a power advantage because if you think Benoît fought what is his name?
Zaleski dos Santos.
Yes.
And that was at welterweight as well. Yeah,
because he took it on short notice and all of that, and man, he was tough. He was tough in that fight. And
Zaleski dos Santos is a good fighter, and he's been in the UFC a long time. And this kid was coming in 8-0.
Yeah,
that's a rough first fight, short notice. But then he looked really good against Stolz, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He has great grappling. He does a lot of seminars, single necktie, stuff like that. Speaks English, speaks German.
I was just looking at his record here. So he's 9 wins, 8 submissions, 2 rear naked chokes, 2 guillotines, 2 arm triangles, a knee bar and an arm bar. It's like I'm just going to grab one of each.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's really amazing what he's also in the special forces in France until he started jiu-jitsu in 2017. So that was his first martial arts, which you can see that portraying in his fights because he goes so heavily to it. Well, he did judo was his first martial art from the age 6 to 16. I mean,
which is really well funded in France.
Oh, amazing. Part of the reason why MMA was illegal in France for so long was definitely that judo mafia. Yeah. It's horrible over there.
Yeah. I hope they're sitting front row this weekend.
Oh, do you know in Aries they brought in the minister of the sport and they booed her?
Oh, did they really?
And she was one of the ones that helped make MMA legal in France. I'm like, you guys. Yeah, but Benoît has powerful body kicks. He's prepared some in Bulgaria because he's part of that Bulgarian top team management, which I've seen some of the guys from Aries compete in that. They have very good wrestling, very good control on the ground and transitions as well. Yeah, his wife is a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like special first woman and that trained in like the SWAT and like
Really,
can
yeah.
shoot professionally, like teaches that, does dog training. I mean,
Well, that'll set the standard high.
yeah, I know, right? That couple, it's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith over there. Legit will shoot you. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. That submission he got in Brave was amazing.
Yeah,
Benoît.
it won submission of the year, didn't it?
Yes, it did. His opponent was going for a calf slicer at the same time. Did you notice?
I didn't know. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like, it was basically a calf slicer to him doing an E-bar. And just the way he grabbed it and twerked it was really well. It's just, yeah. And Gabriel, I just think he like rushes too much. You know, like he's great on the ground, but he's just so... Like, I'm going to get it there. That Benoît might even be able to just hit him and get like knockout type of things. But body lock, leg hook, takedown, the angle changes. Just looking for you to expose your neck, basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I'm going with Benoît Saint-Denis.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think he's just a little bit better everywhere, and he's got UFC experience.
Yeah. I spoke to some of the officials that were around that. They were losing their mind about that fight, the first one he had. Okay,
so 2 for Benoît. We agreed on all of them so far, haven't we? Stephanie Egger, Quiñónez.
There's been 2.
And,
3 now.
And Benoît Saint-Denis.
Yeah.
Okay. Nassourdine Imavov against Joaquin Buckley. Now, I think this is one of the most competitive fights on the card because I think they're both as talented as they are reckless in their approach sometimes. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I think like they're both very explosive. I would say Imavov's a little bit more scrappy, and I think that's the thing he holds over Buckley, whereas Buckley's very quick and quite unpredictable. Okay, so 11-3 for Imavov compared to 15-4 for Buckley. 6'3" compared to 5'10", so a massive height advantage for Imavov, but it's Buckley that's got the 1-inch reach advantage. Higher striking output for Imavov, better takedown defense for Imavov, better takedown accuracy for Buckley. Really high striking, submission average for Imavov. So again, Buckley's probably going to want to try and keep this one on the feet, and I think Imavov might be comfortable working in the clinch and wearing him down and just making him tired.
Yeah.
I'd be fighting Buckley at the closest range I could to stop him springing at me and flying at me with kicks and knees.
Yeah. What's interesting, though, is that Nassourdine's loss is Phil Hall's, which his approach was that it was I'm just going to hold you against the fence for the whole fight. And when he had those little moments of space, he was able to just have a lot of damage. You're kind of like annoyed, like, are you just holding me?
Yeah.
I remember when I went to MMA Factory, they had a bunch of like the Dagestanian guys, and they were all just like making fun of him and stuff. And they're like, he's the only Dagestanian that doesn't wrestle. He just wants to box. And I think what you're saying about the recklessness is also due to the fact that they both want to be stars. Yeah. And they want people to praise them. Like Nassourdine, dude flexes like every 3 weeks. And he's shy. Like he can speak a bit of English and he won't speak to you, but he'll flex and he'll be like, oh, if you put the camera, he gets all excited. So, yeah.
And then Buckley is a star because of that knockout that he scored over Impa Kasanganay.
Yeah, but then the fight he had right after, that was just, which is further up on the card.
But that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's like people can wear him down and get to him. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other thing is the Di Chirico knockout, which just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I feel like Imavov is much more likely to box him at close range and make it like scrappy and untidy and hang on him and push him up against the fence and stuff.
He also, Buckley ate a lot of knees versus Arroyo.
Yeah, good shout.
And then,
he was also a tall dude.
Yeah. And Imavov landed that knee against Ian
Heineken.
Heineken.
Ian Heineken. Yeah.
Yeah. So he just was like really good in that close range.
Yeah. This one could go both ways. It's a really competitive one. This is like the other ones. I kind of feel like Benoît Saint-Denis is most likely going to be the favourite, and the better grappler. Quiñónez has got momentum, and Taha's on a losing streak. Edgar, I just think, is a bit much for Perez at this stage. But this one, I'm like, wow, I can see Imavov either like wearing him down and hustling him, or Joaquin Buckley catching him and dropping him. And even if he doesn't stop him, he might be able to drop him and win on the scorecards over the distance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a really interesting one, because I think one of these two could potentially progress a bit further into this division.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a prospect type of fight.
Yeah.
With Buckley, he has such great kicks. And when Nassourdine fought Phil Hall, he got, within 1 minute, he got 5 calf kicks. And in the last one, it kind of put him to the ground. And I've never seen, because you have that side stance, it's just very difficult to do something about those low kicks other than get out the way, to the point where he was just like he was just like bouncing, like trying to jump over the kick.
Yeah.
Which that's something that Joaquin Buckley could do very well, which is kick and apply pressure and kick and kick and kick.
Which way are you picking it?
This is a hard one. I'm picking Nassourdine because of the Buckley fight against Holland.
Okay. I really don't know. So I'll just go the other way and make an argument for Buckley. I think he's going to get outpointed, but it will do more damage over the distance. And I think he'll win a decision after dropping him off probably 2 rounds out of the 3. Okay, this next one I am really excited for, because I have enjoyed watching Michael Figlak coming through Cage Warriors. And Farès Ziam is a tall, awkward striker with a reach and height that's problematic for most lightweights. Now, Figlak... Okay, well, quick tail of the tape. So Farès is 12-4. Figlak is undefeated at 8-0. He never got the Cage Warriors title because he signed with the UFC before, but his last win was a unanimous decision over the last Cage Warriors champion before the belt was vacated and won by George Hardwick. 3-inch height advantage for Ziam, as you would expect, and he's got a 75-inch reach. I'm not sure what Figlak's is. It's not listed on his on UFC stats. I wonder if it's on his Tapology. But basically, Farès is going to be taller and rangier, and he's going to want to try and keep it at that distance. And Figlak is really good at closing people down and going bang, bang, body, coming over the top with headshots and really making it scrappy. Him and his brother, who's most likely going to be in the UFC in a very short period of time. Mateus.
Yes. Goes by Matt, though.
Matt.
Yeah, I always see him as Matt.
Michael, Mad Dog. I don't know why it was so difficult to say. I'm excited for this guy. I can't pick against him because I've just seen him pressure people up against the fence so much, and I can imagine Farès just kind of getting backed up against the fence and drilled in the body and trying to reach over him and pull him in.
Yeah.
That's my first thought on it. I think Farès is a very talented striker, but I think he'd be better to try and snap his head into a guillotine.
He's a former Glory kickboxer.
True.
K1 champ at 18 before he went on to MMA.
Yep.
Also, after his debut, the next 3 fights were without crowd, so I feel like that might have taken a toll in his pace.
Yeah.
He just seemed to be a little bit like, like we're sparring at the gym, kind of like relaxed. And for some fighters, that having no crowd has been good, and for others, it's been like, you don't have that crowd cheering for you, especially when you're like tired or you don't know if you should pressure more. If it's just silent, you're gonna do what you need to stay safe. And I think now fighting in France, fighting so close to his hometown, that will really elevate him to show a lot more of his striking than he has previously.
You got that UFC debut. So that was UFC 242, which was the one in the big tent when Khabib fought Poirier. And he fought Don Madge, and it was so hot and sweaty in there and humid. And that was I remember that being early on in the night, and it was like before the air conditioning had properly kicked in. Do you remember? And it was just like you walked there were air-conditioned cabins where everyone was warming up, and then you'd walk out into like desert heat, start to sweat immediately, and then walk into the big tent, which had just started to get air-conditioned and then start to get cold again. And they just had this really kind of slow grinding back and forth. And Dom Madge is a good striker as well, and he was able to like keep Farès pinned up against the fence for a lot of it. And I can imagine Figlak doing the same thing, head position, being in a tight clinch and just working the body and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch him make his debut in the UFC. I could have maybe seen him add 2 more fights on the local circuit before he stepped up, just for experience-wise, but who knows? I think this is a good matchup for him to start with, though. Mm-hmm. It's a good kind of, like, entry-level UFC fight. Farès will test him.
Yeah, because Farès wasn't... So he had fought out his contract, and it wasn't until it got announced that UFC was coming to Paris that he was re-signed.
Oh, is that right?
He also changed his management team because he was also part of that Bulgarian top team that I was talking about earlier with Benoît.
Yeah.
And now he's with Dominance MMA Management, which I think is Ali.
Right.
Yeah. It's trained now at Stanford, has been doing some training there, so... has tried to develop and improve as a fighter and go a different direction. Mm-hmm. He has great knees up the middle. So if Figlak isn't careful and just pressures in and not respecting the level of kickboxing that Farès has, he can get tagged, especially with that lead left hook that he has. He just sways away and just tags you. And it's Figlak's like debut. How does he handle all of that? That's always a factor I think about when people are making their debut, because it is quite a...
Yeah. But then do you think that's balanced out by the fact that Ziam is fighting in France?
Yeah.
And Figlak fought recently, didn't he, in Cage Warriors at the Indigo?
Yeah, the day before the event.
The day before UFC London.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which was, what, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, not long ago. Something like that. Yeah, I'm going Figlak anyway. I think he's going to stop him body shots.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna stop him body shots. I think he might take him to the ground and like control him, type of thing.
So what's gonna happen then?
What I just said,
what
like
for
pressure
Figlak?
him and
so
stuff. Yeah. Just because in that third round versus Vendramini didn't. It's not. I know he tagged him, but then when he fell to the ground and all of this, it was just because he was getting pressured and attacked and bullied to the ground. It wasn't because things were landing and he was really rocked. Mm-hmm. Like if you see him, he was tripping over himself. And I feel like the pressure that Figlak has, might get him the victory, unfortunately, for the French.
By decision, though?
Yeah, by decision.
Yeah, I think Figlak's going to stop him. I just think Farès has got such a long body. I can see him trying to keep a tight clinch and keep leaving his ribs open.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 2 for Figlak. Okay, moving on. Next prelim. Last prelim before the main card starts. Dustin Stoltzfus.
Why are you looking at me?
Who looks a bit like Tom Hardy, don't you think?
He does. Not like the ugly version.
The ugly version of Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Like the ugly cousin. Come on. You're still getting compared to Tom Hardy, like in some angles, in some lighting, in a...
Yeah. Yeah, if you close one eye and lean onto one side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he's fighting Abus Magomedov. Abus Supyan Magomedov. Who is a very experienced and very dangerous individual, 24-4 with 1 draw on his record, compared to Stoltzfus, who's 14-4, so 11 fights more than him. He's also been travelling around and fought on some decent level fight shows as well. He's fought on KSW. He's had a few fights on PFL. A tough, difficult guy to deal with. What do you reckon?
It's funny that they're both... Well, Dustin, although he was born in, I think, Pennsylvania, and he speaks to him, he has a most American accent, he started his MMA journey in Germany. And Abus as well. although he was born in
Yeah, of
Dagestan,
course, yeah.
you know, he was, I think, started wrestling from the age of 12, and then at 15 he moved to Germany. That's where he started. So they have similar circles that have like training partners in common that they may have, but they've never fought. But always in the ranking, Abus was ranked above him, even though Dustin went on to go to the UFC and stuff. So it's just kind of like a Germany versus Germany middleweight fight.
Right.
If that makes sense. Which I feel Dustin might kind of be annoyed and want to prove himself, because he's like, man, I'm in the UFC. This guy's fought outside. You know, I'm over here fighting the toughest people possible, Rodolfo Vieira, like, you know, which, yeah, he's a great guy, like, great grappler. Yeah.
Do you think he can take Magomedov down?
Yeah, it's going to be an issue, isn't it?
Because Magomedov seems quite happy to strike. I mean, I know what's that last loss on his record was that really long left hook against Taylor on PFL, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's kind of one of those things
It was a really odd punch, that was.
That you just got caught and it doesn't, I don't know. Obviously, you know, all the credit to him for catching him with the punch. It's an amazing punch that you have to practice and you have to have accuracy to land and all that. But it was also one of those like weird knockouts.
It was. I mean, it was just a long left hook, kind of caught him right in the temple 30 seconds into the first round.
And I saw Abus went to MMA Factory to train for a bit as well.
Yeah, he's also got a win over Sadibou C, who's just gone through to the PFL finals.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think this is a really tough fight for Stoltzfus because I think he's going to want to try and take him down and maul him on the floor, and I think he's going to struggle to do that. I think Abus is going to be happy that he's coming into the UFC against someone that he's been familiar with for a while.
Yes,
and he's been wanting to kind of prove himself. And plus, like the work rate of Abus is ridiculous. Like between 2010 and now, in 12 years, he's had 29 fights, and I mean, he's just the pace he's been fighting at is I don't know. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to sub Stoltzfus while Stoltzfus is trying to take him down. I think he might hit him and hurt him. Stoltzfus might try and level change and take him down against the fence and get guillotined. And
Abus has that really nice teep as well. He kind of like just picks his foot and he's just like, what?
Which is going to make him feel like he's
like teep you in the head. Yeah.
So on his Tapology, it says he's 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. And it says Stoltzfus is 6 foot with a 75-inch reach on UFC stats. So height and reach advantage as well. I think Stoltzfus is going to try and take him down. He's going to get hurt. Front kick, knee, something like that. Yeah, and Abus is going to sub him.
Sucks for Dustin is like, for example, when he was fighting Mershart, he was controlling the whole fight and just like dominating everything. And it wasn't until like third round...
And his back taken, and he went into choke. And Mershart's one of those guys that you beat up until he...
Sorry.
Was it second round?
Yeah.
But he escaped a bunch of stuff up to that point. Yeah. Like Mershart is a good grappler, but he accepts being on the floor, whereas Magomedov he's not going to accept being on his back, I don't think.
Yeah, on the notes I put too much heel hook shit. Which is something that it's because I've lived in and I've trained in Germany. It's something that they're like, oh, you have this heel hook and this thing. They just have such an obsession with it that you don't realize you're getting punched to death, and that you should probably abandon that.
I had a friend I used to train with. He was one of my old S&C coaches. His name was Ralph, and we used to call him Ralphenstein. He's a black belt under Eddie Bravo now, and he had a habit of heel hooking people. But he was like 6'5" and 240 pounds of like prime German muscle. You know what I mean? And he was just a fucking heel hook wrecker. Yeah, it is. They're really popular, heel hooks in Germany.
Yeah, it is.
There's been a few fighters over the years that have come out of Germany that have been really strong with leg locks.
Yeah, because you have also that like catch wrestling, because jiu-jitsu didn't really make it, and Brazilian guy trying to speak German. I mean, anybody trying to speak German, that's a hard language. You know, so they had to sort of adapt to what they did have.
Yeah.
Which isn't particularly.
So which way you going? Abus?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, main card. Here we go. There's, what, 6 fights on the main card? Yeah. Okay, this one. This is a great fight. This is most likely going to be fight of the night. So, Charles Jourdain against...
you skipped a fight.
However...
Oh, no, they changed his order again.
See? Got to keep up with me. Charles Jourdain against Nathaniel Wood. So we've got 13-5 with 1 draw for Charles Jourdain against 18-5 for Nathaniel Wood. 5-9 for Charles Jourdain compared to 5-6 for Nathaniel Wood, so a 3-inch height advantage, but the reach is the same at 69 inches. Both these guys got a wicked high output, but it's Nathaniel Wood with a higher striking output, 6.32 compared to 5.85. Not quite as accurate, not quite as good striking defense, which just makes it a bit more fun. Both got decent takedown defense, but Nathaniel Wood is leading with 76% and 50% takedown accuracy as well. I thought he looked great in his last fight against Rosa.
Yeah, he did.
He's just beat a Charles as well, so he's on a
I know, right?
He's on a Charles beating run.
Same opponent twice.
What do you reckon? Because I like both of these. I would really rather neither of these guys fight unless it was for a belt, because I don't want to see either of them lose. I'm a big fan of their styles as well, you know?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. I love the way Nathaniel Wood has sort of matured and developed as a fighter. Like, he won't take as many like reckless risk, or he'll keep himself safe and go to the game plan, still make it an exciting fight, but by mixing and by doing smarter things and changing angles and, you know, using his wrestling, using his vice grips that he has, his powerful hand strikes. But then on the other hand, you have Charles. You know what? I didn't think he lost against Shane Burgos.
No. Majority
Just,
decision. So that means one person scored it a draw, right?
Yeah, one person scored a draw, but it was 44 to 121 strikes to Charles Jourdain.
Oh, right.
And it was just 6 minutes of control on the ground for Shane. But if you're judging the fight based on impact and damage, that makes no sense.
Yeah, 2 of 7
so, like, make up your mind,
as well.
Judges. Like, Jesus. Because how do you train for a fight? To sit and control somebody there and just, like, lay and prey on top of them? Or to beat them up? You don't even know. Because for one fight, it's one thing and the other one's another. So
you have a different set of judges, and the judges that they'll have in France might have scored that the opposite way.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, I think Nathaniel did the right things against Charles Rosa to do the right things to beat Charles Jourdain, like working that lead leg, taking his movement away from him, like picking at him, switching his stance, staying on the outside, not being too predictable with his movement, so he's going to like level change onto a knee or something. The difference is Charles Jourdain is faster, and there are more facets to his striking game than there is in Charles Rosa's. I think Charles Rosa's a bit more flat-footed, whereas Charles Jourdain is very, very bouncy and springy and always looking for a highlight reel knockout. Yeah.
Well, Nathaniel Wood also has a win over Andre Ewell, but he stopped him in the third round by rear naked choke.
Yep.
What's cool is that Nathaniel Wood also fought Quiñónez's brother, so that is going to be awkward in the hotel.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm reluctant to pick this one because I don't really want to see either of these guys lose. I think that if Nathaniel shows up the same version that he was against Charles Rosa, and he lands enough low kicks to take some of the movement away from Charles Jourdain, he'll be able to outpoint him with his hands.
Yeah.
But I think if he starts chasing after Jourdain, he might find himself running onto punches and kicks and flying knees and stuff.
So what if he just like pressures him against the fence? Because I always see that Charles Jourdain does his best work when he's the one pressuring and he's able to use his kicks, because he like whips those kicks out like it's nothing. And it's always easier to do that when you're, going forward.
But then if Nathaniel does pressure him into the fence and holds him there's only a certain amount of time he can before he needs to do something. So does he try and take him down, and how does his ground game compare? And the other thing as well is if he gets turned against the fence, he's already got his back against the fence, where Charles Jourdain likes to start springing into action with knees.
Yeah, but I feel like Nathaniel Wood has someone that can help him train for that in Mark.
Jacasey. Yeah, for sure. He's a good training partner for it.
Although recently from Mark Jacasey, we've seen a lot of wrestling and takedown and control that way. Don't forget, he's someone that can, like emulate Charles Jourdain. So he's probably faced that version in the gym before, or something similar to amount to that type of speed.
Yeah.
That Charles Rosa didn't have. But that guillotine that Jourdain got was beautiful. That low elbow guillotine. It kind of reminds me of the one that you showed me of Nate Diaz.
Yeah. You showed me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Low elbow guillotine, high risk. It was like attacking the other arm, trying to like threaten for like a triangle or some sort. Yeah, he's just a slick striker. Very slick striker.
I'm gonna take Nathaniel Wood.
I am as well.
I think he's going to maintain that movement that he had in the Rosa fight. I think he's going to damage Jourdain's lead leg, and I think he might be able to catch him with some shots, maybe drop him and take his back. And I could see Nathaniel taking a rear naked choke. He's got a couple early on in his UFC career, Andre Ewell and Quiñónez. I could see him doing that in the later rounds in this one. But I'm excited. This one for me is fight of the night. I think this one's going to steal the show. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like he should have got a bonus in UFC London.
Did he not?
No, he didn't. Should have got a performance bonus.
Yeah, he should.
I felt like that was BS.
BS. Number one bullshit.
Number one
bullshit. Okay. So you go Nathaniel Wood, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, you know lots about this guy, don't you? Because you commentated his last fight. William Gomis.
Yes.
Against Jarno Errens.
Yes.
I watched some of Errens' fights earlier today. He's a scrapper. He's got good lateral movement. He's difficult to take down, difficult to hold on to. Very scrambly. He can go from having his back taken to taking somebody else's back pretty quickly.
He also runs to the corner in between rounds. He just gets up and jogs to the corner.
The quicker you get there, the longer you can have a sit down, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I found it odd. I've never seen anyone do that.
Maybe just really missed his coach.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Go on, tell me about Gomis, because I watched his last fight.
Yes.
Commentary was excellent. He's
I felt like I was quite like a bitch sorry. It was, not very nice in the comment, but not because I wasn't impressed or thought he did great, but I was just sounded very critical because I knew
he was better than what he showed.
Because I knew he could finish him. Yeah, but
everyone predicted that. Everyone predicted he was going to win in the first round, and he didn't. And his opponent turned out to be a lot tougher and a lot more game than he was expecting.
Yeah, he was also meant to fight Renan Barão, and that got changed the last minute, like 2 days notice. So he was supposed to fight on the day before, in Aries, and this got changed to Jarno Errens now, which is, another late notice change that he would probably do well in. I felt like of the Aries fighters, he was the one that was going to get the contract.
Yeah.
It's just sad that he didn't get
the finish to go out with a bang.
Yeah. No, he did get the finish, but he didn't get Renan Barão.
Oh.
Yeah, because he got stopped with him grounding and pounding and just kind of looking away.
That was it. Yeah. But it was kind of it was a bit of a, people were expecting him to knock him out in the first round.
Yeah, and that, when I spoke to him, that was sort of his demeanor. He was just so confident. He's like, I want to be remembered. I want to do spectacular things. And although I was really excited, I was nervous that wanting to do spectacular things might rush you, so you're just a second away from the knockout, a second too quick. It's just not getting it. And I sort of felt that when he was fighting. Because I'm like, dude, you come from Sanda, you have all these skills, he's beautiful trips, beautiful kicks. He has a knockout going backwards with his lead leg.
Yeah. I did notice that he kept whipping that lead foot around. Yeah. That's going to be useful against what's his name, Errens, because he has a lot of he's quite happy to be backed up against the fence, but even when he's pressuring, he's kind of quite square. Mm-hmm. He fights out of both stances, but when he's drifting, he can be broadside a bit too long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I can just imagine him being a little bit too eager, or maybe even backed up against the fence and Gomis just whipping that foot and across his face.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that happening. I think Gomis is going to get the finish that he wanted on Aries in his last fight.
Yeah, I believe so as well. And if not, he could always take it to the ground, because if you look at Jarno when he fought, I'm going to butcher his name.
Yeah, Mert.
Yes.
I watched it, yeah. Same thing I thought, because he was scrambling and he was scrappy and he had decent defense, but there were moments where he was stuck in bad positions.
Yeah, well, in the first fight, it was taken down in round 1, dropped the jab, and in round 2, he was unable to stand up. He's sort of searching for submissions, but he like body triangled the bottom from the guard. And I just feel like him with all the problem with Dutch fighters, and although, I love Dutch kickboxing so much. It's beautiful, it's crisp, it's direct, it's to the point, but there's no wrestling there.
What about Derrida? Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. Double champ.
Yeah, he's probably the...
He's the only one, yeah.
Yeah. You see, that's why he's so impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I saw him, he did like a... What was it? It was like some weird COVID like park fight against this other guy, and he got taken down by that guy. Oh, yeah. And yeah, and it was like a Muay Thai fighter that he got like taken down by,
right.
And he ended up on his back. So that kind of makes me feel like somebody like Gomis could do either or.
Mm. Who was Gomis supposed to be fighting?
What's his name? Ailin Nai, which Nick. So usually fight week I get on like how to pronounce these names, because I just look at them otherwise. His nickname's the real Jaguar, because Gomis is Jaguar. So right. I thought that was pretty funny.
So you're going with Gomis, are you?
Yeah, I'm going with Gomis.
Yeah, I think he's going to slap his toes across Errens' face and knock him out with that first round.
Yeah.
I think Gomis is talented. The only person that's been able to really kind of like walk through his shots was Harilla, and that guy's a maniac.
The one that was chasing him.
Yeah, Tobias Harilla.
Yeah, but it was also William doing like a really good game plan, which is like, okay, you're just going to walk around and around me, so I'm just going to keep tagging you and tagging you.
And he could do it for 15 minutes as well, which was impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going with Gomis as well. We're not disagreeing on many of these.
That's because your picks are starting to get better.
Oh, is that right? We'll see. We'll see if we're both wrong after this weekend's card. Okay. Nasrat Haqparast against John Makdessi. Another banger on this card. Two guys that take a lot of risks, that drop their hands a little bit, that can scrap. Both tough. John Makdessi's got some taekwondo background. He's got some good kicks, but he's also got some decent hands as well. Haqparast, a bit long, a bit lower stance, good hands. Just generally all round a bit of a good scrap this one is. Let me just quick get the UFC stats pulled up. What do you reckon?
So this is a fight that has been rescheduled several times. This is like third time thing. So Nasrat, after he fought, he was in August 2019. He was just like, I have unfinished business with John Makdessi. You know, it's nothing personal or anything, but you know, we were scheduled to fight, and then one got injured than the other. So this is a fight that's been in the making for a while. So they've been on each other's radar for quite a bit.
They must have seen each other in... Are they not both trained out of Montreal?
Yes, so they both did train a little bit at TriStar.
Right, I was going to say, but different times. Maybe.
Yeah, I think Makdessi left, but more like to start his own thing, and it was still while Nasrat was there. So I think that they have trained together.
You keep combining his name.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I am.
I mean, we could do it for both of them. We could call Nasrat Haqparast. We could call him Nasparat.
That's a good name, though.
There you go.
That's a great nickname.
And then we'll just call John Makdessi Jack Desi. And then there we go. We'd Jack Desi and Haqparast. Quick tale of the tape. So John Makdessi is 18-7. Haqparast is 13-5. 2-inch height advantage for Haqparast, 4-inch reach advantage for Haqparast. This is also Southpaw v Orthodox, which is good. Higher striking output for McDessie, higher striking accuracy, higher striking defense. Better takedown defense for McDessie, but no takedown attempts, and Haqparast does occasionally. Okay.
This is what I think about Nasrat Haqparast.
Nasrat Haqparast.
Nasrat. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's Nasrat, okay? Let's just...
Nasrat.
Okay. I think he struggles when opponents are in a close stance.
Okay.
Because in a lot of his fights, I see him sort of edging towards the inside foot and then resetting. He goes back and he resets to the outside. So then he steps through and he punches on the inside, if that makes sense. So he has sort of like this pattern that he just keeps resetting to. And when the opponents are in an opposite stance, or I guess the same stance, then that's where he kind of is like, wait,
that
what?
You're from the same gang as Luke Rockhold. So are you talking about Orthodox v Orthodox, Orthodox v Southpaw?
Yes. So he's better when it's Orthodox v Southpaw.
Okay.
Than when there's like both Southpaw, let's say.
Right.
Or that's what I feel, because I think he has like a set program on how he deals with the foot. He has quite a nice foot game, like inside of the foot, outside of the foot to punch.
But is that most likely because he's not fought many other Southpaws? He's fought a lot more Orthodox because there are more Orthodox fighters.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's developed a better game against Orthodox fighters.
Yes, the one that I feel like he always kind of goes to, and when they're at the opposite stance, it's kind of when he's like, oh
bit
shit.
stuck for him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or at least that's what I think I saw and I believe.
Yeah.
Might not be the case. He did also have hand surgery recently. You know, he struggled with his fights. He was like, oh, don't go into a fight injured.
Yep.
Which he did. He was like, oh, this fight's not me.
He does look like Kelvin Gastelum, though.
He does look like Kelvin Gastelum. I think that every time.
And he's got a similar stance, a similar style. He did really well against, Mark Jacasey. Took his space away, walked him down, dealt with his kicks really well. Like I think that's a good approach for him in this fight. I think it'd be better to take John McDessie's kicks away than to take his boxing away. And John McDessie had a fractured jaw as well. Was it Cowboy kicked him in the face?
Yeah.
And then, and he waved the fight off. I'd be trying to refracture that. That'd be my goal.
What's crazy is he joined the UFC in 2010.
McDessie?
John McDessie.
He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
He was on the roster for a while.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for Haqparast.
So what do you think about him switching camps? Because he went from TriStar and having like GSP in his corner and like the Brotherhood to now he's at King's MMA. Which I don't know if it might be like a COVID visa type of thing, or
might be. It might just be because he wants more of a King's style.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, he's a striker predominantly, and I would imagine that. King's is Rafael Cordeiro, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that alone would probably be a good reason to make the move. Have they not got Eric there as well, who used to train with? Yeah, they have. Eric the Gentleman. I can't think what his last name is. He's on Instagram as Eric the Gentleman, though.
Oh, okay.
Who did he used to train with? Do you remember? Terry Brazier. There you go. Really good grappling, really good wrestling coach. Just a good gym. I just think sometimes maybe it's cold in Montreal. You know what I mean? Maybe he's migrated because of the weather.
That would make
San
sense,
Diego.
but it's also cold in Germany.
Yeah, but King's is in San Diego, right?
No, it's in LA, isn't it?
Yeah, Eric's at Alliance.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm getting them mixed up.
Okay.
King's is still Rafael Cordeiro, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's just LA.
Okay, no, it's still a good place, though.
Because they train at Black House.
Right.
Some of the fighters do.
Yeah. I think Haqparast is going to do it.
Yeah. McDessie has kind of like that pumping jab like Robert Whittaker has, and it's cool.
Which way you going?
I feel the pace of John Makdessi can be a problem.
Which way are you going?
Okay.
People are sick of us talking about this fight right now. Which way are you going?
All right. Don't be mean, man. Do a lot of research for this. I'm gonna go with John Makdessi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alessio Di Chirico versus Roman Kopylov.
I don't know why this fight's so high up in the card
I'm not
compared to
sure
other
either.
fights in the card.
No, it's a bit of an odd one. I don't know why. I don't know whether they were. I don't know. Can't make sense of it. Because they're not even local fighters, are they? It's not even like Di Chirico's Italian, Kopylov's Russian. Like
Yeah.
I would have put. There's a bunch. I would have put Nassim against Buckley at higher up on the card.
Yeah, I mean, Alessio is 4-6 in the UFC, and Roman is 0-2.
Yeah.
So
Maybe it's just because they know it's probably going to be a short fight, so they can save time for the main and co-main.
or maybe it'll be like changed later during the week or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I found it very strange at how high this was. I found it strange how low Imavov was.
Yeah.
And Joaquin Buckley.
Unless they might be trying to get crowd in there before the main card starts.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Because they put him and then Farès like one after another.
Oh my God! One of the when Roman was fighting Carl Robertson and what was it? Paul Felder was counting like leg kicks or stuff. You were like marking it down like he's counting his prison days. That was just so funny. It was like cheeky. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you expect from this one?
It's a weird one because I feel like Roman hasn't really showed who he is in his past two fights.
Well, he was undefeated coming in, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
I think there was a high expectation of him to be pretty dominant, and then I just think he's stumbled against fighters that I wouldn't have expected him to stumble against. Really, I mean, he was stopping everybody coming in. What is he? Decision in his first pro fight, and then stoppage. Beat everybody within the distance, and then lost to Robertson.
Yeah, just
I wonder if it's the travel. It might be the travel. It might be better fighting in Europe.
maybe, but how is he going to... The traveling now from Russia to France is difficult. Well, I know just because there's some Russian fighters in Aries, and they've told me like they'll have to fly to like Dubai or something.
So I wonder where he's been training then.
Yeah.
I wonder where he's been training.
I couldn't really see. I couldn't really find very much on him. You know, I know that he like accumulates damage to the bodies with knees and straight shots. He has a really good left high kick, which Alessio got caught right after he threw the kick. He got caught with the same thing on the next fight, which is quite crazy.
Kind of saved him a little bit as well, because he was he was down 3 in a row, 3 decisions to Holland, Muradov and Cummins, and then stopping Buckley in the first round kind of saved him. But then, as you said, Abdul Razak Al Hassan did the same thing to him.
Yeah, and he was caught versus Zach Cummings in the last second, where he was like knocked out, but he got up because the fight was over, like the time went. So that seems to be an issue for him, even though that's what he caught Joaquin Buckley with. It's also sort of his weakness. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I
think Kopylov's going to do this, and I just think that this is his opportunity, and if it's not now, he's not UFC level, and he'll be released. I think he might be able to just like clip Di Chirico, ping him with a straight shot, double leg him, take him down, and as Di Chirico's scrambling with a head full of water, he'll get his back taken.
Yeah, but what was weird is when he fought Albert Duraev, he wasn't really trying to get half guard or anything. He was like scooting himself to the center, and it wasn't like a good technical way of staying in a safe position. It was like I think even DC was like, "What are you doing?"
Maybe he's just not been fighting decent opposition. I mean, I'm looking through his opponent's record though, and they've had decent amounts of fights. Like 22-19, 15-5, 6-2, 9-2, 19-10. Like it's not like he was beating up cans. It just seems like when he got to UFC level, he just kind of stumbled.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just lost his confidence. Plus, there was a chunk of time he was out. So his last fight outside the UFC was 2018. He had 2 cancelled in the beginning of 2019 before fighting in November. And then he had 3 cancelled after that throughout 2020 and 2021. And then for October of 2021. So he's had big chunks of time where he's been out. And previously he's been fighting 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
It might be consistency as well.
I think versus Duraev in round 3.
And he was due to fight in April of this year, which was cancelled. That's rough.
Yeah.
He must have been like halfway through training camp and
starting, stopping, and
I think Kopilov's going to do it. I think he might take get the rear naked choke finish in this one. I just feel like Di Chirico. He's kind of we've seen the best of him. He's like he's a bit of a kind of budget Vettori. He's not, you know what I mean. He's a bit stiff and he's a bit kind of rigid, and he's not quite as skilled as Vettori, or he's got quite the same pace or determination.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. Yeah, I feel like he prefers to fight in an open stance as well. Not in all fights, but he'll make an effort to switch and try to make it that way. And I don't know if it's because he's trying to land a kick or just with his backhand. But I think Roman might actually catch him with a kick, you know? Because he does have a really nice left high kick. And versus Duraev in that 3rd round is where I think we started to see more of what he's actually made of. Where it's kind of just like, come on, like, wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He pulled like a Derek Lewis punch as well.
So which way you go?
I think Roman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Decision or finish?
No, I think finish. Maybe 2nd round.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he fights the way that he can fight, I think that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah. Okay, right. Co-main event. Robert Whittaker against Marvin Vettori. So Whittaker, obviously the former champion, and his record's different from UFC stats. I noticed this when we were doing the War Room. So on UFC stats, he's 14-6. On everything else, he's on UFC stats, he's 24-6, and on everything else, he's 23-6.
Do you know what that?
I don't know. I haven't located the one weird one, but 23-6 seems consistent. I'll be interested to see what the UFC use. It was the same on another fighter the other day. They counted an additional win, and I don't know if it's something to do with the Ultimate Fighter. I don't know whether they count one of those fights as a fight when it's actually not counted on his official record, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, so Robert Whittaker, both 6 foot, 1 inch reach advantage for Vettori, southpaw v orthodox. Both have a decent striking output, leans towards Whittaker, but Vettori is the one that's more accurate. Pretty much the same striking defense, 60 to 59%. Takedown defense is better for Rob Whittaker, but takedown accuracy is better for Vettori. Quite an evenly matched one on the stats. I mean, I've just recorded a War Room for it, although my head was all over the place because I've been researching Nate and against Chimaev for 3 days. I feel like this might be a different fight if it was over 25 minutes. I feel like 15 minutes, I feel like he's good enough at staying away from power punches, and I don't think Vettori is smart enough or slick enough to outthink him.
Okay.
So therefore, I feel like Rob's going to be able to kind of move away and tag him and walk him onto stuff. And when he gets too close, he's going to clinch him and wrestle him and turn him against the fence, break an elbow and move away, set him up for that high kick that he caught Jacare and Brunson with.
Yeah. Well, one of his teammates, Jaden Lawrence, in that Commonwealth thing that we were at in Birmingham, well, I think he received bronze in wrestling, which you think that's someone that he's training with that can help him prepare for someone like Marvin Vettori. Yeah, they were due to fight in UFC 275 in Singapore, and then Whittaker pulled out because of an injury, which is the thing that always gets everybody like, about Whittaker because of the constant injuries, or it's just always something that keeps him from.
Well, that was that was Yoel Romero that started that problem. I mean, he was doing all right until the Romero fight, and then
I was live for that fight. That fight like changed my life, and we're seeing it just be like, whoa! It's incredible.
I think that I think you have to be particularly slick to be able to beat Robert Whittaker, and I think Vettori over 3 rounds is not going to be able to put the kind of pressure on he would need to get to Whittaker. And I think Whittaker's going to struggle to stop Vettori unless he hits him with a kick or takes him down and beats him up and subs him. But I think that's going to be really difficult to do. Like, Vettori's never been stopped.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me one time, I think you were coming back from Abu Dhabi, and you told me that Robert Whittaker was put on his gi and he was training a lot of gi before. Yeah, well, when he lost his belt, he took a bunch of time out. So after he lost his belt to Whittaker, he just kind of lost interest for a little while, and I vaguely remember he told me a story about running up sand dunes and being like, I'm over this. And he took a bunch of time off. He was like sitting playing video games and stuff and not really doing anything. And he was invited back to jiu-jitsu, gi jiu-jitsu, and that was kind of what got him back into training. Like, he started to enjoy the process of learning gi jiu-jitsu, and then that started to move towards MMA. And like, you look at his last few fights, like, he's landed more takedowns in his last few fights. He's not always scored the takedowns he's gone for, but he's always been hustling for them. And I think that on top of that, there is jiu-jitsu, but I think it will come off the back of confidence with wrestling. Like, he's got subs on his record, but they're back like way before his UFC career started, like 2011. Yeah, but doesn't Marvin as well, majority of his submission, because he's known as a grappler submission, but a lot of his fights are standing, and a lot of his submissions are before the UFC.
He's got 9 submissions, but 2 of them are in the UFC.
Yeah.
A guillotine, the rear naked choke. So like,
one versus Carl Robertson, right?
Yeah, that's the rear naked choke, and then the guillotine was Uda, Alberto Uda. I think he's got good grappling skills. But I think he'll be feeling that he's got better grappling skills than Whittaker, and I think that could be a mistake. Because he might feel as long as he can keep the fight on the feet, that he'll be okay. And I think he won't be too concerned if it hits the floor, if that makes sense. I think this is why I could see Whittaker maybe taking his back, because he did take Gastelum's back for a moment, and he did take Izzy's back for a second. And I can imagine Vettori being a little bit too hard-headed to jiu-jitsu his way out and do a proper get-up, not respect Robert's ground game, and have his back taken.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I go back to the same thing. I don't, over 3 rounds, I just don't think that Vettori can put enough pressure on Rob Whittaker to do that, and I don't think Whittaker's going to be able to beat him up enough to stop him in 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a decision, and I think Whittaker will probably take it.
Well, on an interview that I saw from Robert Whittaker, he was like, well, Marvin Vettori is a double-edged sword because he's very hittable. And if you can keep the distance and tagging him, you can win the fight. But it's also one of his strengths because he's so durable. So if you can't keep the pace...
Hang on. So durable or so adorable?
No, durable.
Okay, I was just checking. It did sound like adorable, didn't it? That's why Jamie laughed. I was like, maybe I just heard that, and then I heard Jamie laugh.
Q-tips. Q-tip it up.
Okay, so Marvin Vettori's adorable.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, what? Oh, you fucker.
Carry on.
All right, so...
He's easy to hit in the head because he's so...
I'm just trying to read this quote, man. Let me get through it.
I'm just recapping what you've already said.
Okay. Keeps the pace or it... forget it.
Gets hit in the head a lot, but he is durable. But that's a double-edged sword because you don't want to punch him because he's adorable. So that's close to what you said, right?
No,
something along the line. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying because
he can take you down and make it a dogfight. That's the end of it. There we go. Jamie, please clip all this nonsense out. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. What Robert Whittaker's only loss in middleweight is to Izzy.
Yes.
Which is crazy. They both have 2 losses over Izzy as well.
Yes. Yeah. But then hasn't Vettori got a loss to, like, what's his name? Yeah, Shoeface. Shoeface, Antonio Carlos Jr., and a draw against Omari Akhmedov.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like I always kind of find myself siding with the person I feel like is the better martial artist. And I appreciate what Vettori can potentially do, but I feel like what he could potentially do is more effective over 5 rounds than over 3. Like, remember what he did to Jack Hermansson? Like, it wasn't until later into the 3rd and 4th where it seemed like Jack Hermansson had had enough. Yeah. And he's not going to be able to put Rob Whittaker there in 15 minutes, I don't think.
So you don't think Marvin might feel a little bit more confident after fighting Paulo Costa at a higher weight class? Because you took him on at 205. He was like, yeah, weigh what you want.
Yeah, but I think he'd do that with anybody. I think that's he's a bit of an orc. It's kind of his mentality. And he is, though, isn't he? I mean, he's a bit kind of...
He's an adorable orc.
He's an adorable orc. He's an adorkable. He is a little bit kind of... like, there's this unreasonable confidence that comes with him. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's so tough and durable. And one of the strengths that he had over Costa... Because I got a bunch of shit because on the War Room the other day. Because I said that Costa looked like shit against Marvin Vettori, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, but he did still throw punches and have abs. I'm like, look, he still looks shit. Like, I watched that fight again today. He looked shit. I'll stand by it. He looked like a sack of wine is what it looked like. I know he was probably injured and he couldn't train properly or whatever. I'm not particularly a fan of him, and I think he looked like shit. And I think Vettori coming in ready to fight at middleweight, it was moved to a catchweight, and then it was moved to light heavyweight, and Paulo Costa still had to cut to light heavyweight, and Vettori still pushed a pace and still took his best shots. And the thing that makes Paulo Costa dangerous is that he throws volume, because he's not a power puncher either like Vettori. It's I'm going to hit you with 10, 15 strikes before you crumble. Because he didn't have that pace, like, that was one of the main things that Paulo Costa brings to the table, just off the table. And Vettori was walking through shit, like the body kicks, the head kick. Like, that's why it's got to be Whittaker throwing head kicks to put him down, because he's not going to put him down with a punch.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the fight, Marvin was like, oh, he kicks hard,
Yeah. Still walk through it, though.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is what stood out to him the most was how hard Paulo Costa kicked. So if Robert Whittaker's like, oh, so you don't like kicks, let me give you some.
The difference with the two is that Whittaker's kick is sneakier. It's more of a snap turning kick, like a Hapkido style. And it couples really well with his punches, so it'd be easy for him to kind of sneak it in, like Vettori's taking a couple of punches and then all of a sudden there's a foot at the side of his face. Whereas one of the things with Costa is that you can see him winding up, so to an extent you can ride those kicks a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think Whittaker's just a bit sharper. I mean, I am looking forward to this one genuinely, but I also do wish it was over 5 rounds, because that's really how you're going to separate these two.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert Whittaker says he's never heard Marvin Vettori talk.
Is that right?
Yeah, he says when he speaks, I just tune him out.
What the fuck, bro?
Right in my balls.
That was right in my balls.
That's probably one of my favorite quotes. You know what's funny?
I don't know what Marvin Vettori sounds like now. I just know that he sounds like me doing that impression of him.
There was this thing where Alex...
And bright shirts.
Oh no, this changed the name.
Oh,
autocorrect.
Oh no.
Now I'm going to have to try and say the name without reading what that says. But more so, Alex, he just fought as well.
Against who?
Whatever. It was Alex, and it was in Florida.
Right.
And he had given him his extra cup because Marvin forgot his. So he brought an extra one, and he gave it to him. And then Marvin tried to give him back, and he was like, no, dude.
No, you can keep it.
Yeah.
That's not a loan. Okay, which way are you going? You're not made a pick.
I'm going to go with Whittaker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like you want Marvin to win. Is it because he's adorable?
He's such an idiot.
What the fuck, bro?
No, because, like, I don't know. Like, I've never spoken to Whittaker, and I've had a conversation with Marvin, so that automatically, like if one of the fighters likes a post of mine,
so
I'm
Whittaker's...
more likely to go for it. Like if Whittaker would like follow me.
So Whittaker's more mysterious, which is why you're picking him. You spoke to Marvin and you know him, so you know he's not going to win.
No, that's not what I said. That's why I'm like, I'm more keen for him to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think Whittaker's going to win, but you want Marvin Vettori to win because you know him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But at least you're being honest.
Yeah, well, I can't really help it.
So you're picking Ciryl to win the main event, then, are you?
Yeah, I am picking Ciryl to win the main event. Yes.
Okay. But is that
Not
because
the
you
same
actually
reasons.
think he's going to win and
Yeah.
you want him to win?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's different then. So why is Ciryl actually going to win?
You know what? I think Robert Whittaker and Tai Tuivasa are both really cool. Like,
And if they follow you, that'd be really cool as well.
are you kidding me? I saw Robert fight Joel Romero. Like, that was crazy. Actually, Marvin was there.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to say hi to him. Like a weirdo. Yeah, no. I like both of these guys. It's nice that they don't have that much of like animosity.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't sound like it's just kind of respectful.
Yeah. I
between
don't think
each
Tai
other.
would waste his energy with that, and Cyril's just not that guy.
Yeah.
If you've not checked it out yet, make sure you check out the piece that Mystery put together on the Full Reptile channel about Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, it was
It
sick.
is wicked.
I
It's
loved
really
it.
cool.
The
He's
music.
such a chill guy,
Yeah.
playing with his little bowl, and
Mystery automatically.
Of course he did. That's mystery for you. Always pushing his agenda.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I picked Robert for.
Pick Robert. Okay.
All right.
Reluctantly.
Yeah.
Reluctantly.
Not too much. Like, Robert, you have a chance to make me go more. No, Marvin's giving me an interview as well.
Right,
And he's always
okay.
like keen to, I'm gonna stick with my boy.
Right, okay. You going with Marvin now? Are you changing your mind?
Oh, no way.
Oh my God.
No, like
Jamie's
like
going to have to keep removing
heart-wise.
this stamp and putting it back and removing it and putting it back.
no, leave it on Robert.
Okay.
But my prayers are for Marvin.
Your prayers are for Marvin. Yeah.
What people say.
You've been listening to too much Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, main event.
It is
Ciryl
hot.
Gane. We're nearly there.
All right.
Ciryl Gane against Tai Tuivasa. So, height and reach advantage go to Ciryl Gane, 2 inches in height, 6 inches in reach. 10-1 for Ciryl Gane, 15-3 for Tai Tuivasa, 13 knockouts for Tai Tuivasa, 11 first-round finishes. Higher striking output for Ciryl, as you would imagine, higher striking accuracy, much higher striking defense. Footwork, power punching. Go on, break it down for me. How do you see it? You think Cyryl's going to win,
Yes.
and that's who you're picking to win, and how is he going to do it?
By decision. By like tag and move.
Yeah.
Tag
and
and
move.
move. Or he can take him down because I know Tai Tuivasa's coming off all these knockouts, but Derek Lewis took him down.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good sign.
Derek Lewis not a good wrestler then. No.
Well, he says he's an All-American. DC was like making fun of that. So, you know,
That's
like...
his favourite brand of cheese, I think, All American.
Well, that just made me think it was like wrapped.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly the kind of
That's
cheese.
gross.
I think like Ty's not got great takedown defense. What is it, 50% takedown defense?
Mm-hmm.
But he's
Just because Spivak scored like 30 of them
exactly
in one fight.
But he kept getting up.
Yeah.
But he also kept getting taken down.
Yeah.
And he did get subbed.
Yeah.
And Cyryl's got subbed on his record.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't go for like some heel hook and then get ground and pound to death.
I still think even if Tai Tuivasa was on his back and Ciryl dropped back for a heel hook, I still think Ciryl will be able to get back to his feet faster than Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, I think he'd able to do one of those like movie.
Flick flack.
Yeah.
There you
He's
go.
just like,
Just
what?
Jackie Chan his way back to his feet. I think that's the thing with Ciryl, isn't it? He's so
ridiculous.
athletically just well-rounded.
Yeah.
Like he's fast and he's agile and he's got a good height and reach advantage. He's well skilled. He's a good kickboxer.
All because he wanted to be handsome.
There you go. All because he wanted to be like Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that part. It says be like, watch the
Oh,
Ciryl.
well.
You killed it. for me.
Spoilers. Fuck it. You should have watched it by now.
Yeah.
It's got to be all on Tai Tuivasa to cut him down, beat his legs up, and then put him on the end of that big right hand. Or left hook.
Yeah. Well, he does have, like, he has great kicks. And he's a very smart fighter, the way he corners people into these knockouts and he draws you into an exchange. Like, if you're a power puncher like Derek Lewis is, he'll still, even if he's hurt, be focused enough to find these holes and these openings, as well as how game he is, that gives him this advantage. But I feel like Cyryl's just been given power punches throughout his whole, like, UFC upbringing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're ideal for him because he's got better movement than them. So he can feint in and feint out. They swing and miss, and he's often moving away. But then, like in the Derek Lewis fight, he was quite good at staying in the pocket and covering as well.
Yeah.
And I think that might be useful against Tai Tuivasa because you're going to have to get him to swing and miss, but you also need to get him to swing and land and keep swinging. And I think that defense that he's got, he's 62% striking defense. I think that'd be really useful if he's inside against Tai Tuivasa to use that, and then just keep tying him up and slowing him down and wearing him down, and not making it such a long range fight. My only thought is that because it's in France and because it's main event and it's 5 rounds and he's done 5 rounds and Tai Tuivasa stops everybody in the first round, like he might kind of play that long game for a while and it might get a bit restless in there for the crowd. Yes. I can imagine the first 10 minutes of him kind of bouncing and moving away and hop side kick to the leg and move and jab and the crowd getting kind of restless. And then that might play into Tai Tuivasa being like, what the...
Yeah, but will he have the cardio to do that?
Maybe not.
That's just the thing. It's like, will you have the cardio to do... And then as the fight progresses, your punches get more labored, they get more slow, and they're less likely to... as the fight goes on, you're less likely to knock somebody out.
Yeah, and then Ciryl starts picking at him.
Yeah,
and then he takes him down.
Yeah, exactly.
Arm triangle.
I think you'll take him down and sub him. Yeah. In reality, just because it's been so easy for Tai Tuivasa's opponents to take him down, and he's kind of. This is the way I think of it. Like, it's a saying, like an elephant gets taken down by its legs. So something like thick and strong. You just wrap their legs around and you take them down.
Yeah. So we learned that from Star Wars.
Okay. Oh yeah, right? From the
AT-ATs.
Yeah, the AT-ATs.
AT-ATs. Right. Jamie was like, Star Wars, of course. So you were talking shit on Luke Skywalker the other day in his orange uniform.
I'm not a Luke Skywalker fan.
I don't care.
And that's why he's on your wall, and my wall's cool. Exactly.
Your wall's got SpongeBob, dead SpongeBob on it.
Yeah, exactly. Still beat the crap out of Luke Skywalker.
Anyway.
All right.
This descended into celebrity deathmatch.
I think Cyryl's front kicks up the middle was like into that, softer midsection of Tai Tuivasa.
It's like running in sand, though. It might be exhausting for him.
No, man. Plus, he has that guy that fought in Aries that looks like Biggie, and he dresses like him too. He's a great podcast. It's all in French though, but he has somebody like that can maybe be a similar body type in the way that he moves quickly and stuff. Obviously, he won't be as high a fight IQ as Tai Tuivasa. Clearly, obviously, he's not ranked number 3 in the world, but somebody's body that can be similar, that he can move around, which he'll have.
Yeah. So Ciryl then.
Yeah, I just feel like he has to be careful more on leg kicks than he does on the power punches, because you'll be able to get away, but on the movement, just like Imavov, because of the stance that they're in, it's a little bit harder to block those low kicks, and Tai Tuivasa has nasty low kicks.
Yeah.
But still,
Ciryl Gane then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to sub him.
Vive la France.
I think he's going to sub him.
I think that's how you say it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we wrap it there?
Wrap it there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Crystal Council, one of our 2 sponsors. If you use the code FULLREPTILE, you will get 20% off, and you can get into their subscription boxes and all kinds of good treasure and that great book. If you're not sure where to start, order yourself one of those, and you'll be wanting Moldavite before the end of the day. And to Full Reptile, fullreptile.co.uk. Check out the stuff on the website. We've got a bunch of stuff on there. Walkout shirts and t-shirts and shorts and What else? Loads of stuff.
And hats and socks.
And socks and
Pretty
hoodies.
cool socks, actually. Like
Very cool socks.
They do that thing.
They do that.
Super cool.
Socks that do that.
Yeah, you put it on and it just...
And if you use the code PICKS, PICKS, you'll get 10% off. Socks that do that.
I don't know how to describe it. Oh, and we'll probably be like, oh, is it? I'm going to hear it on Wednesday, but I won't be here.
Oh, there you go. I'll have to record it for you and send it to you.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Owen.
All right. Catch you next time.